So my name is Jamie Brophy. I'm a leading chef. I've been in the Naval Service for 7 years. I love the job. I would recommend it. It's definitely something that I think all chefs should experience. It really does broaden your horizon as to your catering skills. I had a lot of family members in the service at the time, and past members were in the family as well. So I always had an interest in it. Yeah, so a typical day here would be on the base. We'd start work at 8:30. As a chef, you'd come in to the kitchen. You'd get your jobs from either the duty chef or the duty NCO. Obviously, you'd work on the lunch first. We serve lunch at 12:20, and then once you have the jobs for the lunch done, you'd work on the dinner or the dessert for that evening, and the duty NCO or the duty chef will serve that out then at 5 o'clock. So during the 4-week patrols that we have, we'd bring on rations, which is military lingo for food, before we go to sea. Normally, the Monday that we're going to sea, we'd bring on all the fresh veg and meat and so on, and we have to work with that then for the next 2 weeks before we can resupply. So for the 2 weeks, we're working off what we have in the stores, and it's quite important that there's not too much repetition in the menu, because people get fed up with it. So what we try to do is we try to not cook the same thing in the 4-week span while you're at sea. You try to differ it and do something different every day for the 4 weeks, just to keep people happy. So compared to the restaurant life, the hours are not as long. There is a lot more time off. Obviously when you're at sea, it is long hours and you're away from home for up to 4 weeks at a time or longer. But the general day-to-day working on the base, the shifts are a lot shorter than what you would have in a restaurant. You have like standardised breaks, which you wouldn't have working in most kitchens. I would say that the overall work environment here would be better than working in a restaurant. So the rate that they advertise at the moment is for a qualified chef, and it's about 70,000 a year before tax. So that's after your training is finished. So once you go into recruits, you will start off on say the recruit scale. Once you're finished recruits, then there's another scale. Depends on your rank. Then as the scales go up as you climb the ranks. So for myself as a leading chef, I'd be one rank above what the able chef would be. So my pay scale would be one up. And then obviously every year that you're in Naval Service, you go up an increment in pay as well. So the pay package is quite good here. So I think since joining, it can be a very different environment here as opposed to restaurants, because restaurants are very repetitive. It's more than likely the same menu every day. You're just working on a line, basically just moving stuff along, doing the same thing constantly, and it can get quite boring. But here, as I mentioned before, it's something different every day. Even when you're working in the base, it's going to be a different menu for lunch than it was yesterday and the day before. So we do really try to change it up in here. I would say personally that the chefs in the Navy are very well trained, because we need to be trained in all types of cuisine. So I would say straight off the bat, once you have a few years gone in here as a chef, you can go anywhere in the world and work. And the experience we get here is second to none. With the vast amounts of different types of food that we have to be able to cook here, compared to in a restaurant when you're just doing the same thing all the time. You will walk into anywhere if that's what you want to do. If you want to leave and you're working in a restaurant somewhere, you would walk into any restaurant and you'd have no problems with the training that is given here. I won't lie, the Naval Service isn't for everybody. It is quite tough being away from home, but it is a very rewarding job, especially the cooking element of it, because you can see the I suppose the joy that you bring people when you're out at sea for long periods of time as you're producing good food. It does affect their mood. And so I would say that if you're on the fence about joining it, it can't hurt to try it. If you don't like it, look, you can leave. It's not for everybody, but some people will try it for. Some people love it here. I love it here. So yeah, look, it can be quite hard at sea. Obviously, if you're away for 3 or 4 weeks away from family, that can be quite tough. So food is a massive part of that. If the food's not good on the ship, then the morale on the ship is not going to be good. So we do try, and we take pride in our work when we're at sea as well, to try and bring up the morale because you can physically see on the ship if the morale gets quite low. You might be maybe 2 weeks into your patrol and you get an operation that you have to go out somewhere, you can't go home for the weekend break in the middle of the 2 weeks. So that then when we think it's quite important to have a very high level of catering on board, because at the end of the day, the food is a massive part of the morale out on the ship. I suppose the best thing about being a chef in the Irish Naval Service is the relationships that you make, whether it's with the people that you work with day to day, the other chefs, or if it's with the other crew members on the ship. The galley on the ship tends to be like a hub for everybody. Anybody can come in there for a chat, stick your head in the door, get away from the pressure of the jobs that you're doing, or the bad weather or whatever. If you want to come in for a chat, or people just stop by to see what's on the menu. I mean, it really is like the hub of the ship. So I suppose that's probably the best part about it.